Hello everybody, this is Todd Frazee and this is the short tutorial on the Auxiliary View worksheet tutorial. So in this tutorial I'm going to go over example 1 step by step on how to develop it. So in a sense we're going to have a little bit of a Bob Ross moment. There's my little lucky Bob Ross charm from my game called Art of the Chill. Okay, here we go. So we have our first view, and they've numbered this first one to help with demonstration. I apologize if my screen's a little blurry. But the object to a auxiliary view is to sketch just the face that you're trying to describe. Okay, and that's face A. So you're not going to see the part fade back in perspective behind it. All you're going to be drawing is the true shape. If you were to measure it parallel to the face in the plane of material of what I've highlighted in green here. Okay, so that's A. Face A is what they're calling on this worksheet. Now the numbers that are labeled here, 1 through 6, denote the different corners so that you can see where to project them from in the two views. So in the front view, they're coincident to each other, but in the side view, they're at different points. So we are going to be describing the face. And step 1 is going to be to project the points from the front view into what's going to be our auxiliary view. It's always in the same angle. It's normal to the same angle of the face you're trying to describe. So we're going to go to the corner that is labeled point 1 and 2. And we're going to do a construction line with a pencil. Okay, I'm doing a little heavier than you probably want to do just so it shows up on the video. So you want just a light construction line because you're going to be erasing parts of this. Now we're going to go to the next point, corner, and the last set of points. So on the drawing it's 1, 2, then you do 5, 6, and then 3, 4. Okay, so we've got one line for each of the corners. And if it helps you, you might want to label the corners just like this on, but do it lightly so you can erase it. Now step 2 is going to be establishing the spacing between the auxiliary view and your front view. And you're going to use point 4 to do this. So let's take point 4 and we're just going to project where point 4 is on our grid. So the way I do that is I put my pencil on it, I line up the scale, you have a grid there to set the angle, and we're going to draw another construction line. And that's going to represent the spacing between our views and the front edge of the auxiliary view. So once you've drawn that, you can delete, or if you're in the CAD, or you can erase those construction lines that are in the white space between the views. So you now have point 4 established. Okay, now we're going to establish point 5, which is off the second projection line we did. And then we're going to try to find point 1, which is not on the front edge of the part, like the edge between 4 and 5. So we need to transfer the dimension in true dimensions. Now in manual drafting, this would be done probably with dividers, or so step 3 is to start transferring distances from the side view. And we're going to use our grid. So the distance between 1 and the front edge of the part is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So we're going to start on the projected corner and count over 4 blocks. And that's where point 1 should lie. I'm not suggesting you draw these big points and label them in this exercise, but you can if you want. You just need to erase it. Okay, so then we're going to establish point 2, which is 5 blocks from point 1. So you've now established the true length of the edge between point 1 and point 2. Now we're going to use those to intersect to find point 6. So the intersect between point 1, a line there, and in the other opposite axis for point 5 defines where the location of point 6 is. So at this point we can erase out the corner that's not existing in the part, and we almost have a full outline of our part, almost dot to dot. Now we're moving on to step 4, which is really going to be enclosing the back, and we've already defined where the points are except for point number 3, and we can use projection off the back from point 2 to go and find the one axis, and where it intersects the front edge defines where the edge is between point 4 and point 3. Okay, we can come in now and erase all our extra construction lines. We have the outside perimeter defined. You can do this too at home for your project. I'm going to be using a fine tip Sharpie ink pen to trace the profile, which is going to be step number 5. And this way it'll show up well on your digital image. Now, back in the day when I was taking drafting, we would do this. We'd actually do a drawing, and once it was approved in pencil, we'd come back and use blue ink with an ink well to do what's called inking the drawing, and it was very tedious. If you made any mistakes, it was horrible. So there would be one master set that would be used in ink, that would have ink lines, and then you could come back and after the ink dried, erase the pencil like I'm doing here. Okay, so now we pretty much have what's left is after getting rid of all the balloons I wrote on there, we pretty much have the view as it's described as view A, and I'll go ahead and highlight it here, but the green surfaces are now represented in true size, normal to the face of view A, our auxiliary view. All right, we got it. Now it's your turn to do the rest of them. Okay, so this concludes this tutorial, and we will see you next time. And if you get frustrated, go Google Bob Ross and have a Bob Ross moment. And watch him paint a fluffy cloud, happy little trees, wondrous water, or a charming little cabin, and you'll be sure to be calmed down and perfected the art of the chill.